Hi guys, I'm here with another middle grade book haul for you. Almost all of these books are coming out in October, and there are so many of them that I could barely carry them in one stack. So I hope you're as excited as I am. Let's get going. The first book on my list is All's Fair in Middle School, a brand new graphic novel from Victoria Jamieson, the author of the wildly popular Roller Girl. This is a story of 11-year-old Imogen, who has grown up homeschooled and going to the Renaissance Fair where both of her parents work, but suddenly she is going to a public middle school for the very first time. I absolutely love Victoria Jamieson, so I'm so glad that she's got a brand new adventure for us. This one came out on September 5th. Next we have The Wonderling by Mira Bartok. This is going to be such a beautiful book. I actually don't have the fully illustrated copy yet. I've only gotten the advanced reader's copy, but I cannot wait to see this in hardcover. It's just got this instant classic feel. It's a sort of steampunk fairy tale. This is a story all about Arthur up here, who is a groundling, which means he is a hybrid between an animal and a human, and he has grown up his whole life in the home for wayward and misbegotten creatures, which is a terrible orphanage. With the help of a friend, he escapes the orphanage and goes on an adventure to find out who he really is. It's such a beautiful story and will definitely make a great read aloud. This book comes out at the end of September. Next up, we have The Unlikely Story of the Pig in the City by Jodi Kendall. This is a modern sort of take on Charlotte's Web, or definitely reminiscent of. All about a little girl growing up in a cramped apartment with her family in the city, and her big brother brings home a rescue pig from a farm, and they become fast friends. Much like Charlotte's Web, I'm sure this one is a bit of a tearjerker, but it sounds like a fantastic contemporary story for anyone who loves animals. Next, we have Gertie, Milk, and the Keeper of Lost Things by Simon Van Boy. This sounds like such a neat premise. Basically, Gertie is washed up on the shores of this magical island where she learns that she has been chosen to be the Keeper of Lost Things. So this means that she has to return historical artifacts to wherever in time they came from in the first place. This one should be great for history buffs and fantasy fans alike. This one comes out in October. Next up, we have the Chocopocalypse by Callaghan. This is a mystery story where news breaks one day that in 6 days the entire world will have run out of chocolate. Obviously, chaos ensues, and our main character takes it upon herself to figure out just why this is happening. You can pick this one up on October 10th. Next up, we have Ruby and Olivia by Rachel Hawkins. Ruby and Olivia are twins who do not get along. Ruby is bold and opinionated, and Olivia is quiet and respectful and always follows the rules. But when Ruby takes the fall for something that Olivia's done, they both end up having to do community service at a day camp all summer long. The task that they're stuck with is cataloging the historical mansion in their town, which seems super boring at first, but turns out there's all sorts of interesting things going on in this mansion. It's been described as gently creepy for middle graders, and I think this would be a perfect Halloween fall kind of book. This one also comes out in October. Next up, we have The Adventurers Guild, the first in a brand new series by Zack, Loran, Clark, and Nick Eliopulos. This is a story of Zed and Brock, who are living in one of the last remaining cities after the rest of the world has been taken over by monsters. So they are sort of going about their lives and have plans, but suddenly find out that they have been swept up into the Adventurers Guild. The Adventurers Guild is the last line of defense against the dangers, all the monsters and creepy crawly things that exist beyond the borders of this city. So obviously they are wrapped up into all sorts of crazy adventure. It has been described as a sure hit for readers who like their fantasies clever and action-packed with a dash of snark. This one comes out on October 3rd. Next up, we have Sword Will Travel by Garth Nix and Sean Williams. This one is set in medieval times and opens with two kids finding an old sword buried in a dried riverbed. But this is not just any sword, it is a talking sword. The discovery of this talking sword takes them both on an epic quest to save their kingdom. This book comes out on October 31st. Next, we have Snow and Rose by Emily Winfield Martin. This is a gorgeous illustrated retelling of the lesser-known fairy tale Snow White and Rose Red. This is a beautiful story all about sisterhood set in the fantastical woods outside of their house. If you want a full review, you can check out our reading wrap-up from August, where I talked about this in greater detail, but I highly recommend this one. Snow and Rose comes out on October 10th. Next, we have Polaris by Michael Northrop. This is the story of Polaris, which is a ship that's gone out to explore the new world. But unfortunately, they lose half of their crew in the Amazon jungle, and then there's a big bloody mutiny in which all of the remaining adult members of the crew leave, and everybody left on board is under the age of 12. They are left to fend for themselves and survive. As if it's not bad enough already that these kids have to bring this ship to safety all by themselves, there's a chance that there's something otherworldly underneath the decks below. This one definitely sounds like a spooky page-turner, which is fitting because it comes out on October 31st. Next, we have Tentacle and Wing by Sarah Porter. This is all about a 12-year-old Ada, who, thanks to a genetic experiment gone wrong, is a chimera, which means that she has both animal and human DNA. But this is a secret until a surprise test at school reveals this to the world. So Ada is shipped away to a special quarantine school for all of the rest of the chimes of the world. As the story goes on, there is growing tension between the human world and the chimeras of the world, and it definitely sounds like it's got like an X-Men vibe to it. Which I personally love. This is going to be a great pick for anybody who loves sci-fi and comes out on October 10th. Next up, we have The Incredible Magic of Being by Kathryn Erskine. This one sounds like a really interesting contemporary book with a sort of paranormal sci-fi twist to it. This all takes place through the eyes of 9-year-old Julian, who is very connected to the world both emotionally and intellectually, and perhaps as a result also really suffers with anxiety. He and his sister and his 2 moms move to Maine, and when he gets there, there are all sorts of issues with the neighbor, his new neighbor next door. Julian has what they call in the book a unisense, which means that he can basically like psychically connect with other people, and so he really like feels through other people. So he is able to connect with this new neighbor next door. That's sort of as much as I can explain because I actually have not read this one myself, but it sounds beautiful, and I love a story that features a male main character that has all sorts of complex emotions. This one comes out on October 10th. Next up, we have The Vanderbeekers of 141st Street by Karina Glaser. This is the story of a big group of siblings growing up in a classic brownstone house in Harlem. But 5 days before Christmas, their mean landlord decides that they're evicted and have to be out before New Year's Day. Obviously, this could not come at a worse time of year, but the kids all take it upon themselves to prove why they are all just wonderful, and the landlord will learn to love them if he can only see how great they really are. It sounds super funny and heartwarming and just like a fantastic contemporary family story. And this one comes out in October. Next up, we have The Player King by Newbery Medal winner Abby. This story all takes place in England in 1486 when King Henry VII has taken the throne. As it turns out though, there is a kitchen boy working away in a pub in Oxford who is the rightful heir to the throne. So with the help of a mysterious friar and the aid of a deceitful Earl of Lincoln, they teach him everything he needs to know to be the proper king. But obviously, King Henry VII is not going to go down without a fight, so a battle ensues. This book comes out on October 17th. Next up, we have Max Tilt, Fire the Depths by Peter Larringis. This is the first in the Max Tilt series, and it's one that I have talked about in another previous wrap-up, which we will link to below, but it is an epic, epic adventure. Max discovers that he is the great-great-great-grandson of Jules Verne and has a lost unpublished manuscript that takes him on this wild adventure. I loved it. It was so fun. If you'd like a more in-depth review, definitely do check out our other video, or just take my word for it and pick it up. It comes out in October. And finally, the last one in this book haul is Timeless, Diego and the Rangers of the Vastlantic by Armand Baltazar. I am only a few chapters into this one, but oh my goodness, is it epic. Basically, the premise of the world in this book is that there has been a cosmic event that has split time and space and totally reshaped the world into this new epic sci-fi fantasy adventure land. The neat thing about this middle school is that there are kids from all different cultures, but also all different parts of history, all currently living together in this new world. On top of that, there are dinosaurs and robots, and this is all beautifully illustrated throughout the pages of this. Armand Baltazar used to be a creator for Disney and Pixar and DreamWorks, and he has taken all of that creative energy and put it between the pages of this book. It is very thick, but much like Hugo Cabret, for example, a lot of the pages are taken up with illustrations. There are some sort of graphic novel elements to it. It's just stunning. I can't recommend it enough. It's so, so neat, and it comes out in October. So there you go, lots of middle grade reading to get you through the fall. We will make sure to leave links below to every book that I just mentioned. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos. We post them every Wednesday and Saturday. Happy reading and thanks for being awesome. Bye!